This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Wednesday, May 15th. This is the meeting of the Senior Center Building Committee. Thank you we are being recorded, and the meeting is called to order at 12:33. Open time for the public. No one is here. Let's move right along then. Approval of minutes. So there were two short minutes, meeting number 10 and meeting number 11. I will call an executive session at the next meeting to approve executive session meetings minutes, but we need to do that in executive session. But the two brief minutes go as we go into executive session. We have meeting 10 and meeting 11. Do we have any a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Okay, Christina, and a second?
Second.
Are we approving both?
Yes.
10 and 11, okay.
10 and 11.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No, okay, good. All right. So, after our our wetlands delineation and our public meeting at the annual town meeting, and I guess the next step is to kind of determine other locations, potential locations. So, I thought we'd take a little bit of time. I was hoping Darcy would be here because as the realtor in town, she's very familiar with what's available that none of us may know about, but just any kind of thoughts, either, obviously we looked at the fire station and that property and the police station, and none of those were possible.
Right.
We have the property that potentially the town could buy and purchase at 117 to 125 College Highway, and any other thoughts that people had of where we can look for other potential locations.
So because I wasn't part of the feasibility committee, I'm just clarifying.
You haven't memorized those 70-plus pages?
I know, I've read it, but I'm still going to clarify. The land that was looked at the first go-around, you guys like put out something, or, because were people contacted the group that they had land to sell? I'm just trying to remember
the process.
how.
I'll let Chris kind of speak to the
So from a select
process.
board point of view, we sent out letters to landowners, both private landowners. And we had already, I think the committee had already worked just to narrow down quite a number of properties, if I'm not mistaken, before we sent out letters. So you guys have done a lot of work in terms of the radius, or whatever, the radius from the center of town, you know, what looks like it's got a, you know, decent area, approximate square footage, something. You all went through that whole, look at all the possible lands in town, both private and public, came down to a listing of some of the ones that might be interesting from a private landowner point of view, and then the select board sent out a letter to them asking if they would be interested in either donating and or selling their land to the town, and that began a dialogue. A couple people said no, and then we had three, maybe, I'm thinking. Sorry, for my computer, but I'm thinking we had like three that responded yes. Maybe there was one down on Fulmer Road that said no. There was one over on Moose Brook.
I don't think we looked at Fulmer. I'm trying to remember.
No,
Fulmer.
okay, well, that might have been public safety one. We didn't
Public
say.
safety, I know, it's
Yeah, okay.
easy to confuse them.
Right. The property near, right across from Red Brook, there's an open area there. There was down by Borrell's Farm.
No, we didn't, the public.
No, I think we-
These are the lists, and this map kind of talks, so it shows the circumference that we tried to fall within.
Yeah.
We looked at the Harley Building,
Yeah.
Zero College at the time, 89 Clark, 79 Clark,
Oh, yeah.
210 here,
East Street, yeah.
East Street,
Street.
and 16 East Street.
Mm-hmm.
Is that across from the library, that area, across from the library?
Might be.
There was, where was
Paul-
that?
Paul Champagne's area maybe?
Yeah, maybe that was Paul.
Because one of them was the Rights area, right to the right of the.
Yeah, that wasn't on the original. I think they
No.
contacted us.
Came in afterwards, or the
Yeah.
landowner that, where this house is being built on East Street now.
Right.
Part of the land in back of there is owned by a family called the Wrights, who are out of town now. They have moved, but when they heard that we were going through this exercise, they actually contacted us to find out if we would be interested in their property. So we put it on the list, but it got.
Yeah, it abuts Conant Park, and the only entrance to it, because it's a landlocked parcel and it's also extremely wet, would be
wet.
through Conant Park, and because Conant Park in their deed to the
Right.
town basically said you can't use it
Right.
for anything other than a park, so we would have had to make a driveway and
Yeah.
stuff, so.
Gotcha.
So these were kind of the lands that we looked at the time. Harley was, based on Abacus review, was just kind of too hard to convert and too costly to convert into something. And it was almost to East Hampton, so we really tried to fall within this circle that's here and on this part of the map, so.
Okay, so you kind of decided that circle first,
Right.
and then the select board,
Well, then we looked at parcels that were large
Yeah.
and possibly for sale.
Right.
Darcy looked at those.
right, okay.
Yeah.
Because we asked a couple families, again, that said, thanks, but no thank you, and that were large parcels, but they were not interested in selling at the time, so. So this was kind of a summary of
Right.
what was available, what we looked at,
Should we
and how we rated it.
Yes, yeah.
go back and rethink some of the possibilities or not?
Yeah, I was wondering can we go back and look at the report? Like Bruce Coombs offered to sell us the property
Next door.
next door. We don't think it's big enough, but we don't know if there are wetlands there.
Next door to what?
Next door to 89 Clark.
And his next door to the Heritage Survey on Clark Street.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
know,
so
there's
that-
issues with that too.
Sure.
Probably
And it was kinda
wetlands,
small,
but we don't
probably
know. And that was
wetlands.
small.
I'm just,
Yeah.
But you don't know
Is that the
for
one
sure.
closer to
Yeah,
Heritage?
it's one
Yes,
closer
right
to the
next
Yeah,
edge.
it's even lower.
In spots it is,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, 79 Clark is definitely not worth looking at. We never even
Right.
got it's under the Phillipsburg Realty. We never even got an
well, we
ability
did
to
meet with
access it.
Mitch at the time when we were looking at
Yeah.
it. Then when you guys were looking at for public safety, it didn't.
But there were no answers back. I mean, he had to
Yeah.
go to corporate headquarters and they were interested. in
And
anything.
that one's very wet.
Yeah,
That's wet.
And the price
Wetter.
tag was ridiculous too. It was very high.
And closer to the gas station.
Yes, well, no,
No, that one is
79
not.
is
That's
further
the
Close to
issue.
away.
Marvin Keystone.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the issue with Bruce, with Heritage
Yes,
Survey.
some
Heritage,
people
okay.
reached out to us, like Bruce Coombs reached us to us kind of late in the cycle.
Yep.
And we, at the time, we had preferred 89 Clark to this smaller parcel
Right.
that was there.
So his is, on that map right there, his is to the left of that?
Right.
Right here, yeah. So it's narrow. I don't know what the runoff is on that, from the gas station and the issues that they had previously. So,
What we'd seen in that engineer's report, all those, that's been taken care of and monitored and all that's
Right, it's been monitored, it's
being
being
done.
monitored,
I mean,
yeah.
that's been
Yeah, we
Yeah.
looked at that.
Been nothing for-
Right, and
a number of years now.
which one is this?
The one where there was the gas station.
Oh, okay.
Next to Heritage.
Farther back up behind here.
Did public safety look at that at all, or no?
No, I don't think so. Not, well,
So these
I wasn't
were-
around on the beginning of that committee, but.
Okay. Because the police station is
Don't
only a
think so.
little over an acre, so
Don't
it's
think
really
so.
too small. East Street is the one that's, I think this was the Champagne.
Might be the one right across from the library.
From the
driveway.
library,
Yeah, that's the issue with the driveway.
Isn't it a wet
Nice area.
It's really wet.
Yeah.
That's what I
And we
thought.
had a survey, wetlands delineation there too, I think, didn't we? Were they gonna do something on that property? There was something, is that the same property?
No, or is that the one with the rights? Is that the one to the right of the driveway,
Oh, yeah, it's landlocked, so you
Yeah,
need
the
to.
landlocked
yeah,
one.
This is
yeah.
the land, this is East
Yeah,
16 East
that's
Street.
not-
This is
that's
the
not
one, yeah.
Champagne's.
That's the one we're talking about?
That's landlocked. Because this looks like the library here,
Right.
so this was the landlocked.
Right.
So we really never looked, I think, at the Champagne property.
No. So that would be.
That's right,
Where
they
the
came to
library
us.
is, kind of across the street.
Because there's
Right.
no
Across the
access
street.
to it.
Yeah, this was landlocked. so-
Right now, there's not much, I don't they kind of mow it. I don't have any idea whether it's wet or not. I don't know anything about.
Which one is that, Chris?
Paul Champagne's land, I don't know what the parcel number is, but it's pretty much right across from the library building itself, so you pull into the driveway a little bit ahead of that. But if you're at the library looking out, it's the land directly right across the street. That's a nice, decent-sized flat parcel. I have no idea though anything about it. And I think at one point, someone had approached him, and I don't know if it was you guys or maybe public safety way back when,
Yeah.
and he wasn't interested in selling it all.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I don't remember reaching out to that, but I thought we had talked about it at one time.
yeah.
So let me introduce our open time has come and gone, Stephen, but did everybody know Stephen Johnson?
No, I
So,
Yes.
don't. Stephen, S-T-E-V-E-N?
PH.
I'm
Open
the,
Space Committee,
I'm the clerk.
liaison to housing, Board of Health.
Yeah.
assessment.
Can I just write lots of boards?
Lots of,
Select board,
Yes.
planning board.
Yes, select board, planning board, those are
You
his
do it.
elected positions, right?
Yeah.
So I did
I'll
run,
just simplify that since not everyone really does know me very well. I've been a strong proponent of the town acquiring the entire 117 to 125 highway, College Highway. And I've done a lot of looking at plans that were previously submitted and a whole lot of geophysical data, whatever is publicly available. And I am thrilled that the town supported it at annual town meeting. Now we have to support it with a vote at the election for the override. But I think it opens a world of opportunity for the town. First of all, we know that it's the preferred site for the public safety building. But the town will be acquiring 10 times that acreage. And subject to the inherent character and limitations of the land, it's a blank slate for us. It's a blank slate. And I'm very eager to engage with any and all boards that are thinking about their land needs and can describe them, like we need about X number of acres for a Y square foot facility. We want it to be easy access to a major road, a minor road. We want it to be low impact development, of course. We want to have good neighbors. We want to be good neighbors. So who plays well together among a long list of community needs? That's what gets me up every morning and has for over 40 years. I've worked in land conservation, I always call it at the bleeding edge, where you have to figure out what you can afford to conserve and what the landowner might retain that has meaningful or even documented equity value for development, right? How do you make an equitable agreement with the landowner? So I've done an awful lot of development along the way, and I'll leave it at that. I have maps and plans of this property at such time we want to get into it. Scott and I can tour guide you around because I've traipsed him up in Downdale, and I'll leave it at that. I'm at your service.
What kind of plans do you have?
I'm
What
sorry,
kind of maps and plans, like, do you have of it, other than?
From about January or February of 2023, when mixed-use concept came before the planning board.
Okay, we saw that.
Yeah,
didn't
we've
we?
seen that,
Okay,
yeah.
we saw that.
we've shared that,
And
yeah.
it was, right, it was the creation of the current owner in partnership with some developer. And they had any number of fixed ideas about how they were going to develop the property. We don't.
Right.
As I said, it's carte blanche,
Yeah.
and to figure out how different uses play well together.
I mean, one of the issues that came up with that particular developer was that when I went to the zoning board voted down their plan. Okay, so a lot of the community people came to that zoning meeting, spoke very vocally about the site visibility and exiting off of the property and the concerns that they felt that would be amplified with putting, that development in there at that time.
Stormwater
So,
management.
yeah, so that was, I think, there, and runoff and, on both ends, so that was, and then it got voted down, so it kind of went nowhere and, at the time, so.
Did they ever do any borings out there? So if there's rock for ledge or wetlands delineation. We know there's some in the back, but, right?
As far as I know, nobody's done borings
Okay.
per se. That would be deep testing.
Right.
Various type of soil testing for on-site septic
They've done that.
has been done
Yeah.
and passed. As far as we know, no one has delineated the wetlands. There's nothing of record that we can rely on.
Okay.
But we anticipate that that would be a
Yeah,
reasonable
we know that there's probably
diligence.
10 to 12 of the acres.
Yep.
The total 56 acre parcel.
Yeah, you said that.
About 10 to 12
Yeah.
acres are
Yeah.
probably wetlands from what we see on the maps, and that's down toward the rail trail area.
Oh, it's in the back.
Right.
Is there a plan to get the wetlands delineations done?
Well, we haven't got that far yet. We gotta get the land first. We're working on one step at a time, but yes, we need to do that before we.
Don't
before
you
we
want
sign-
to get the wetlands delineation done before you buy the
Yes.
property?
Before we
Yes.
sign a purchase and sale, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we should have learned our lesson.
We're all a little bit sensitive about that.
Before we buy the property, we
Chris, could I
definitely.
ask Scott to clarify the timeline of purchase and sale, wetlands delineation, closing, town vote? What's the order?
Okay.
So Friday, the select board's going to be voting to call for the special election. In between that time and June 25th, we're going to finalize the purchase and sale. The purchase and sale have a lot of contingencies, title search, wetlands, delineation, all that stuff. So once that's signed, that's going to move forward while the ballot question is going to be on for the 25th. And assuming that passes, that's one of the contingencies too. It's going to pass. Then over the summer, it's going to be
When's the ballot
into the
question?
treasurer's realm to do the borrowing. And then hopefully we'll close by.
Libby just had a question.
Sorry, when's the ballot question?
We haven't,
Oh, we haven't,
we're gonna totally vote on it for sure, in
Okay.
open session
Okay.
on Friday, but
Okay.
we're looking earlier rather than later, so the earliest we can do it is toward the end of June.
State law sets limits, and
Yeah.
then there's practicality considered.
So there will be a wetland delineation done on the property, yes. That's-
Before we own it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. I mean, that's all part of these little fine prints of the purchase and sale,
That's-
what we're doing here, so, yeah.
Certainly that was our final step before going,
Yeah,
to
no,
purchase
that
and
was your
sale.
final step
Yeah.
too, yeah, so I mean,
So,
that's,
I mean, we had so much with the feasibility committee about, understanding the needs and looking at talking to different property owners and,
Right.
design and making sure we had the needs of the town. And then,
yeah.
once we got a building committee, we started to do the due
Right.
diligence.
Well, and you've done got the perk test done, so we passed your commercial perk test, and we had, I guess it was Mark Arnold that had done that soil study issue for you, and, a couple of other things that, we're working on. Title search was
Title search.
underway, et cetera, all that kind of stuff was there. And
We paid for the wetlands.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
So is the owner going to pay for the wetlands?
we're probably going to be putting it in part of the purchase and sale.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
But,
Okay.
the owner
Yeah.
wants to have something signed
Yeah.
before he spends more money.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So we did look at different particular sites on that property at the time that we were going through this feasibility study, but at the time we were trying to work around potential development. So
Yeah.
we kind of were very restricted. So our study from the architects stated that, and from the engineers, that we should have between 4 and 5 acres between the building and the parking and the septic. So that's kind of, our minimum need. We're there. We liked the 89 because we thought we could do walking paths and all these great things, but
Right.
they would have to be elevated. to go across the wetlands, and so.
Little mini bridges.
So can I get a sense of, okay, so I see,
So this is
College Highway
College,
there.
yep.
All right, so
Bike
you
path here.
have
That was
the circle that's coming off of Helen Drive, or what is that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, or
okay.
Lynn.
Proposed.
that was the
So,
original
This was
proposal.
Lynn down
Yeah.
here, and this is a
Yeah.
proposed, a road, again, this was,
that's
By the
all.
current landowners.
Yes,
No
by the
longer
current-
in
So
play.
that we're
Right, right,
looking
right.
at we don't really know where the site for the safe
the safety.
is that right there,
I mean, if they
right?
own the whole property, if the town buys the whole property, it could
Right.
change, but the donation was
So my
in this
question is,
area.
they're gonna have their access to College Highway, which is sort of like Site A right now?
Yeah, probably
Most likely?
through Side A.
So they would have to purchase that. If we built there, we wouldn't be able to use that, right? Maybe we wouldn't even be allowed to use it. I
Well,
don't-
there was a lot of discussion about shared uses of driveways
Right.
between
Yeah.
a public safety complex and a
Right.
senior center, and
Yeah.
so,
I would say that the Public Safety Building Committee knows that that combination works for them, but I hope and expect that given open constraints, that we might find more synergy in our placement of the different uses.
So right now, that Site A would be the commercial lot. That
Right.
would be part of the
Right.
purchase,
Right.
right?
oh,
So that's,
Zone commercial.
And then you
it's-
had four
Yeah,
lots without the driveway.
Well,
Without,
these
they haven't
three
actually
other
delineated
lots,
yet, but
yeah,
there's up to 4 lots.
approximately.
If there's one, so this one, Site A is, like the others on the front side, they're
Right.
zone commercial. The cost on that was $550. So the
Right.
Public Safety Building Committee has right behind that the 4-acre donation, which would have been landlocked, right?
Right.
So we've gone forward originally to look at that. And what we were looking at was basically the driveway, we wanted enough visibility to the main street, obviously, but needed a driveway big enough so that all the apparatus can get in,
Right.
have a big enough apron, turn around, be able to back into the station,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. So combining that with, I mean, there would be, obviously the fire and the police parking and some public parking there for people that are coming in to, maybe have a meeting or something in the shared room or something. But to have a major driveway elsewhere was not part of the thinking at this point in time anyway.
Yeah, I mean, this
But
was just
you're
kind of
on board for that.
abacus, giving us some
Sure.
examples of
Yeah.
what they
Yeah.
Right.
perceive. This is not,
Yeah.
anything more than a concept.
Yeah.
Do we have any concept of how large, like just say the Site C, how large is that? Do you know?
Can you read that?
Is
Let
that
me
like
see if
4
I can-
acres or?
It's about
Yeah.
4
It's
acres.
about 4 acres?
Because this is a little over, this is 4 acres.
That's
for
4?
the public safety, so it's probably similar to,
Yeah.
it says,
Maybe a little
is this
less.
A
4?
little less.
Yeah, I'm just
40.
trying to make sense of this. It says
that's the
acres,
whole
but-
large.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
that's the
whole,
41,
that's the
that's the
entire
whole
parcel.
area, so.
right.
That's
One,
3.
it shows right there, that
3.3,
one's
so-
3.3.
This is
Well, it's-
3.3.
So you're
Yeah.
right.
That's this is
That's almost 4,
3.3. Yeah.
3.389,
So
It's probably right
It's
around
about
that 4-acre.
4 acres,
approximately.
yeah.
So, and at the time, they were talking about, entering the commercial sites from a road behind the commercial property
Right.
instead of from right off of town,
Oh,
having
yeah.
one main driveway at the time. So that was, again, when we were, because I met with the potential builders came in and met with housing because, they had to, if you have 40 units, 4 of them have to be housing, affordable housing. So
Right.
that's kind of state law. So,
Does that map show Gun Road on it? So
No,
that Gun
it
Road's
doesn't
all
go down.
private?
Beyond the top of that.
Right.
No,
that's
just
up
go
here,
that far.
down here, yeah.
But that's important to scroll through the entire 3 parcels that the town will be buying. You want to highlight those for us?
I don't understand your statement.
Where you're focused right now is a zoom in on the Route 10 frontage,
Mm-hmm.
and where the R-V label is near
Mm-hmm.
Site C, is the indication that the main parcel is 40 plus
It's 40,
acres.
about 41 acres.
Yep, yep.
The parcel at the very end of Lynn Drive, we just identified as nearly
Point.
4 acres.
3.5.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, if you pan, so we see more of the eastern edge of the property, you pick up the rail line, which cuts north and south. From the very southern sort of shirt sleeve of the property, there is
Yeah.
below Lynn. Now, let's go all the way to the northern boundary. Right, so you've got the railroad line.
You're lucky I know my north and east and west.
You're doing very well.
All
Top
drawings,
of the page,
all
it's already
drawings should be
north.
north goes
They've been
north.
kind to us.
it
Now,
should anyway.
I'm
Yeah.
drawing your attention to the right, no, use left and right, to the right of the railroad greenway.
Yeah.
That is the third parcel. That is,
11.
we can consider that of no development value, but high ecological and potentially recreational amenity adjacent to the
You have the
greenway.
Manhan River right
Yeah.
here.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of frontage.
Yeah.
But there are some wetlands because the way the overland drainage is contained by the embankment of the railroad line and the, what would you say, ruins of the canal.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. The old canal used to go
Yep.
right down along here, all the way down, so the canal that you see near Canal Lanes, right, Canal bowling lanes.
Yeah, I
It
didn't
ends up
realize
down
it
in
was
that
there.
part of that area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So all the way up from New Haven, our New Haven, Northampton Canal.
So you can see that a 4-acre parcel, make it 5, could be located in any number of spots,
Yeah.
subject to extreme slopes.
Yeah, and I think the only thing that, you know, we've sort of been talking about, I think as a, both the select board, but in general, is to try and keep the commercial lots as commercial lots, to try and not, you know, we needed something as we were considering the public safety building in that, just that small parcel, because there was no other access, and to obviously try to accept a donation of a landlocked parcel wouldn't have been the smartest move on earth. So there are probably 3 other commercially zoned areas along College Highway that have not been actually delineated yet. We've got estimates on various maps we've seen from the landowners of somewhere to 50 to 60,000 square feet. So they're probably a tad over an acre, each one of them. And so we'd like to probably not get that much closer to Route 10, but, you know, question mark. I mean, I know visibility was an issue too for the senior center about, you know, how are you gonna know we're there? And do we have to think about, you know, if we were looking at this, would we have to go in through Lynn Drive? And what does that mean for the neighborhood and all the
Right.
neighbors that would have it up?
And we were
all the-
just-
You know, I mean, there's lots of things.
We were discussing today how even town people don't even know the senior center is here.
Right, exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because there's
exactly.
no
Yeah.
visible
So I mean,
sign.
there's a lot of, you know, a lot of things that, like Stephen said, would have to be worked out. But I mean, it does give us, assuming we pull off the entire purchase here and people accept that idea, then that allows us to sort of redraw the map a little bit to what we think would work best for our needs for present and future. So, you know, things might shift around a little bit, but anyway, it looks like it's, at least amongst that 41 acres, which does include the commercial property? No, it's just the RV property.
No,
It's just the RV, is it not?
41 or 43,
Yeah.
whatever that is,
Yeah.
is both.
Oh, is it both RV?
Commercial land.
Okay, so anyway, so out of that RV, whatever, that acreage, you know, you knock off the 5 for public safety, maybe it's similar to, you know, perhaps for the senior center, then we don't know what, you know, housing is gonna be looking at something, I'm sure. So, you know, we've got a wide variety of needs and discussions that we'll have to have in the various committees. But anyway, this is an option, I think, for the senior center.
So the 41 is the buildable
Everything.
area,
Yeah.
as far as we know. Get closer to the rail trail, we don't know for sure until we do like more of a delineation back there.
Well, it's got contour lines on there.
Yeah, it's got contour lines on, so.
And it looks to me like it's maybe a substantial slope going
Yeah.
down to there.
There is
Yeah,
20 to 30% slope in those steepest areas.
Yeah.
But there's a farm road that you know, slabs up the hill, and it's been stable for generations.
Is it buildable for housing or? And
I'm
then,
not going to say buildable, but I would say
TBD.
that a large part of that property, the vast majority of the 42 plus the 4,
yeah,
is developable.
Okay.
But the first big challenge is access from Route 10
Right.
that is safe and suitable for all needs.
Yeah.
Or all needs but public safety, which gets its own
Right.
additional.
I think,
And that's quite legitimate, but really we haven't planned for the entire property.
Right.
Yeah.
And property on the other side of Route 10 is going to want a curb cut soon. We don't have to be beholden to that, but we should be aware of that. The existing curb cut in Park Place is badly offset, so that doesn't seem to
Here, right.
afford a lineup. But this is for the generations. We're putting several major facilities forward, and the infrastructure will be sadly very expensive.
Yeah, no matter what we do.
Yeah.
I get to do cheaper, that's for sure.
It's nearly a mile from what they show as the main boulevard entrance, then towards the top of the picture to the cul-de-sac between B and C.
See?
Yeah, right up there, yeah.
Yeah.
And then head to the right, there's a line of some sort, just a key line, out there until the slope is too hard and you just figure out how to get to the trail. And then come back along the top of the ridge to line up with Lynn Drive. That's what the developers initially showed. Yep, exactly. That's nearly a mile of roadway. And how you connect Route 10 to that extended bulb, if you want to, is up in the air depending on how the uses fit together. At the southern shirt sleeve there is a wonderful grove of trees on the level. Doesn't seem to be particularly wet. I wouldn't try and perk it. But if in fact we had sewer running through the greenway, that might be very developable and rather exclusive / nice. But you have to build a lot of roadway before you even
Yeah.
consider that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the whole sort of milieu, and I'll
Yeah, and I
let
think
you
just
guys
to say
know.
too, that when we were looking, because on the map that we had, that similar map, was the developers of the landowners at the time were going to try to build in that center road, right, with the this
Yeah.
rotary there.
Right here, yep.
And
They weren't
then-
making a connection accessible to Lynn. Their plan was to kind of lock this off.
Right.
And if emergency vehicles needed for some reason to utilize it only,
Yeah.
not to have an exit there, but
Right,
that
and they were
was
going to
the-
have a road right on the back side of those commercial areas, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
So-
this road
So
right
that
here.
was kind of the, part of the entranceway. So
Mhm.
when we started looking at the Public Safety Building Committee on Site A, we went to DOT to find out if it was okay to have a second curb cut so close together, and they did not have any objections at the time, so.
And I would think there'd be a flashing light for
Yeah,
fire
we'd
trucks
have
to
to
get
have
out,
something,
unlike what we have here, but,
Yeah.
you know, it's from a safety
So
perspective.
anyway, I mean, all TBD kind of thing.
Yep.
Um,
Okay, and I know that in speaking to Jim Labrie, he has certainly offered us access to his property. So, and I know Stephen is the tour guide, so we can certainly take a look at the property. And all we did, I think, when we looked at it from the feasibility committee, was meet Jim at the very edge. We walked in a little bit. We didn't really go any further back at the time because it was so many unknowns as
Yeah.
far as what was going to be used for and what was really going to be left as accessible or available for.
But I think at the time too, they had only, with the notion of the 4 acres for the public safety building, weren't they only thinking maybe 2 acres for a senior center?
Yeah, they had offered to say, like, I think
Little
these,
small.
Right, they'd offered
a
that.
little bit behind
Yeah.
here
Offered to
was,
buy, not to give.
as far as I
Right.
know, yeah.
Yeah, but that wasn't, it was too small for the
Yeah, that
footprint
was-
you were working with.
Yeah.
So that was another reason it kind of got.
If it,
shoved
if
aside.
it passes ballot and you buy the property, are there any certainties going in there yet? Are we certain that housing will get a piece? There's no certain, there's nothing.
No certainty.
There's
I mean,
no
I think
certainties.
It's
to the certainty that we have the public safety building, I would think the public
That,
safety
yeah,
building,
that,
I would say
I think
that's
that's certain, right,
our-
I'll go with that, yeah.
as certain as we could be at this point in
Right.
time, but no, I mean, I think that whole thing, as Stephen mentioned, discussions have got to be happening with the various committees that have talked to us
Right.
about.
That's
meeting
what's
that.
certain.
Affordable housing is
Right.
definitely one.
Yes.
Definitely so.
So as a building committee here, we're going to be, at some point, if we decide that that's the place that we go, then we're going to be talking with housing and seeing what they want versus where,
In
You
general.
might want to talk.
I mean, is there a
a
strata? We're going to, housing gets first,
No, I don't know.
safety
Yeah.
committee gets first, obviously.
Yeah.
but,
No,
I don't know if we've kind of thought about ranking orders of 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Right, that's what I just
trying to
wanted, if that's,
understand
Safety is,
needs and acreage.
yeah,
you know.
safety is prerequisite.
Right,
That
right.
will be accommodated
Right.
Yeah.
in the best way.
Yeah.
I mean, I can guarantee you, since I'm on the housing authority, that there'll be a close communication with that group and this group as to what
Yeah,
the needs are.
Yeah, there may be some joint meetings and so forth.
Yeah,
Just
so-
to iron those things out, yeah.
Affordable senior housing is a product for rental or ownership. Ownership is way harder. I think we're mostly going to find a partner who will do rental units.
yeah.
There are niche markets, not only the senior market, but disabled veterans are on the street more than not. That might be another public good that is highly fundable and could be accommodated if we think creatively about who's next to who.
Right.
And I bring to your attention up in East Hampton, a long-standing affordable homeownership program.
Treehouse.
Treehouse.
Treehouse, yeah.
Which has unfortunately the
brings
same name as
elders.
a brewery.
Yeah.
I met
They were
somebody
there
who works
first,
there, and I'm like, oh, you work
Can
in
you
the brewery? He's
describe
like,
the model?
no.
It's elders and youth at risk?
Yeah.
Foster youth, I
Foster
believe.
Mixed,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, fostering.
And
So
I guess a
there
lot
are
of
all
those
kinds
foster
of-
kids more of them graduate than in a public school setting.
There are all kinds of models near at hand.
Yeah.
Which fit our community and as a blend of uses
Yeah.
is to be determined.
Yeah.
But it needs this kind of thoughtful engagement from each of the boards to say, not that we want second place instead of third,
Yeah.
but that we could see being next to elder housing as a plus. Or
Yeah.
we could see being next to the fire station as a negative. Understood, and then we fold all that, collectively, we fold all that together.
I think just to say, lots of discussions will have to happen
Sure.
over pursuing the subsequent months to kind of iron out some of those details. But I think there's a wide variety of possibilities there. And, depending on how we come about with this, there could be grant money out there for certain
Sure.
things as well. So that,
Right.
the borrowing of things would have to be, could be minimized a little bit by having
Sure.
some offset on grant money and so forth. But there are definitely ways to have those conversations. And I think the biggest thing, though, is to not assume, the conversations have to happen so that those various committees that are interested really sit down and analyze what they want to do, what their needs are, what their vision is for the future. Because, we don't want to, build it and hope they will come kind of thing, right?
Right.
So we've got to really work it ground up to get all that input and get it really, thought through and talked through many times, most likely, and argued about it, whatever else, to try and figure that out. But, that's part of community development. That's what's got to happen.
I agree with what you said before, that I see the biggest issue here is if you only have one driveway into that property and you got all these uses and it's a public safety complex,
Yeah.
that's probably not going to work. So it might behoove
I think that's
all
why
the
they charge
committees
us,
to
That's why they have their own.
but maybe there's two accesses
Yeah.
off of Route 10 in different locations or something, because you got elderly affordable housing and all of that next to a fire truck that's trying to get out of there is not ideal. So,
Yeah.
This is not a small undertaking.
No.
At some point, there will be state grants to deal with Route 10 improvements at such
Yeah, that
time
curve
as
is not
the
good.
state signs off on that. There will be a turn, if I were to crystal ball this, there will be a turning lane and a light, like at the River Valley Co-op, or perhaps a full signal.
Yeah.
And it would be a control on the speed of traffic on Route 10 at the north end of this larger zone. There are a lot of things that look really expensive at the outset, but might unlock or solve these difficult problems. If it's a full stoplight with a turning lane, a senior could probably manage that, or they should have a driver.
So Gun Road is totally out as an access road, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's, people
That
looked
would be
into that.
property from the Fletchers.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
All of that's a Fletcher's?
There's
a
on,
corner
on
house.
10, there's, you know, a couple lots.
houses there, yeah.
It's 3
North
houses
of
on 10.
this, but
And then there are a couple at the very low end of Gun Road near the rail line. But I think rather there, we have a transition from what will become a very mixed-use site to agriculture permanently protected, currently, I hope, thriving or hanging on. There are a bunch of things that we might do with this parcel that mostly would negatively impact agriculture. And I think we really need to keep an eye out on that.
sure.
Those are investments made by us and farm families.
Yeah, no, I mean, that land has been preserved since the 1980s, so it's not going to be developed anytime
Right.
soon.
So do we want to look to possibly schedule a couple dates to walk the property even before the vote is in effect?
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see it.
Yeah. So Wednesdays are, I remember Darcy is
Yeah,
not
she
available
can't.
on Wednesdays.
I was thinking of
Yeah,
that too,
so,
yes.
she told me that before the meeting.
Yeah,
I didn't,
that's
I thought
right.
she could come in for a little bit today, so I misunderstood that, but she asked me not to schedule any more meetings on Wednesday. So, so we would have to schedule, either go back to a little bit later on Thursday, or another date of the week.
You're talking about for the site visit? Or
And-
for
Or for any of them
meetings,
moving
okay.
forward, right, right.
Anything's fine.
I would just suggest sooner rather than later.
Yep, yep.
That would be my thought.
I would think so. Do we have the weather calendar up? After it dries, after the
Not that you
next
can
couple of
rely on
days?
it.
It's pretty wet tomorrow, but Friday and Saturday look pretty okay. Sunday looks pretty okay so
Yeah.
far.
Monday and Tuesday
Monday
right
and Tuesday
now.
look all right so far. but Who knows, that'll change.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, you can't rely on it.
So Monday is, from your perspective,
Yeah.
what's on
What's
here?
the date?
The 20th.
20th. Yeah, I mean, there'll be staffing, so I can,
I'm going to try to do something midday on Monday for the
Got a
walk.
grant committee meeting.
You have a grant?
Oh, right.
At 1 o'clock.
sorry.
Okay, there may be one thing scheduled, yes. That's at 1 o'clock, Chris, right?
You know what, there was something, oh, yeah, there is something.
That's
that-
super.
Yeah.
Yes.
1
o'clock.
1 o'clock is our grant meeting.
Yes.
So we could do it either at 11 or after the grant meeting.
How about you, Libby, you work?
Anything, I just have to be back by like 4:30. I'm open all day. You're talking about to walk the whole site?
Yeah.
Is that gonna be long enough if you have to be back here by 1? I don't know, how long does it take to walk that
Door to
site?
door, and well, close to 2.
2
You
hours.
don't have to do that, but
I mean, we could
it's
do it.
better to pause, catch your breath, and talk than
Yeah.
to death march through the property.
Right, you wanna do 10?
So we could do Monday at 10.
It works for me.
Fine for me.
Fine for me.
May 20th.
You're good, Stephen?
Yes.
Our tour guide.
So where do we meet?
Where do we
No.
park?
We should go-
Christina, you and no?
Yeah,
You can park up,
hold on.
In front of the insurance agent?
yeah, there's a little bit of a roadway on the Labrie side.
Yeah, you can
property.
kind of pull
There's a
in.
little tiny roadway.
Or you can actually pull over a little bit onto the
Here, shoulder
shoulder
on the
too.
curb on the shoulder too. Yeah, we've done that when we did the walk last time. When we were out there doing it.
It'll probably have to be just posted as a meeting.
Yes, I'll post it, yeah.
Yeah, I
Sometime this afternoon.
probably can't make 10.
Okay.
Because my dad has an appointment at 9 on
All right.
Zoom, so.
So can you hit that on the way back?
Yeah,
I
I just kind
kinda
of meet
waiting.
up with you,
Okay.
or,
Yeah. Just,
Go walk
you know,
through it.
call me and
Sure.
say, I'll let you know which way to go.
okay.
Because if we're any later than that, then one is going to be a bump. So. Okay. wait.
Finish.
I'll just drop Jim a message to let him know that that's when we're doing it. He was fine with us walking it, so, just let him know.
Good.
Okay?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, and I think, back on your earlier question about other properties, if it's worth going back to any of the
Yeah.
others, and I don't know who, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of choices.
I want to read through the report again.
Yeah.
Because they didn't completely eliminate all of them. You know, there's not great things about them, but
Well, there's something said about the guy or one of the daughters or something for that Moose Brook farm. One of them died or something or
The
other.
Goro property.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
possibly
something.
something could have changed there.
Yeah, I don't know who's
Who's the main?
it's gotta be the niece of the guy who lives in the house now.
should we look at properties for sale again?
Yeah, that's
That's something like Darcy.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
ask
right.
Darcy if she has any ideas. I mean, we're not
If there's
making a
anything
decision,
else.
we're walking the property,
I mean,
right? So
the bowling lane was for sale for a while, but now it's
They
not.
wanted to keep it
No,
as a
the
bowling
bowling lane,
lane.
They're
right.
trying to keep
yeah.
it in the family, so
Yeah.
they took the for sale sign.
Yeah. But maybe there's something else, not that.
So we
I've seen
can,
it.
you know, talk a little bit about that as well at the next meeting, so. Because we have to have, I mean, depending on whether we pass it the ballot is, I mean, Plan B,
Right.
so.
Yeah, I mean, I will venture to say that should you all decide to go in this direction before the election, I think it would help our cause to win at the ballot. To have more than one thing thought about being on the site.
No pressure, however.
No, but I mean, it's reality. You know town politics. I mean, you see the social media craziness.
Oh, yeah.
And what were the objections to this property for the senior center when you were doing your feasibility study?
There was that development that was being proposed
Yeah.
at the time. So there
Okay.
was no real room other than kind of what we kind of tried to squeeze in.
So that's gone away.
So that's gone away.
I know my biggest concern is the senior center not being visible
Right.
from the road, because, you know, everything I read about, you know, new centers being built and everything, make sure it's visible from the road.
The one in South Hadley, or Hadley is not visible from the road.
I know, they're not great
They're behind
either.
the library.
Yeah, I'm not saying everyone followed that, but,
Well, you have to have signage and stuff on it.
Yeah.
And one in Ludlow is an ordeal to find.
is
And we
it?
don't
Yeah.
want to be an ordeal.
Right, well, that's the thing.
I mean, you gotta ask Siri.
Yeah. Okay.
No,
But one
But
of
I
the
mean,
other
it's,
reasons.
you know, ideally, that would be it.
Yeah,
But I think the main thing, besides the fact, the traffic issue at the time, was that there wasn't very much property left over with this proposed development,
Yeah,
was the
okay.
main, the too many unknowns, so when we ranked it in the rankings in the study, so when we ranked it, it didn't rank, because there were so many unknowns, it didn't get a lot of points enough
And people
to,
really wanted it in this part of
Right.
the
and
town.
they
Yeah,
wanted it
well, yeah.
essentially, yeah.
Because it's
89
close to
is
the
definitely a better
library, it's close
location.
Yeah,
to.
this was a great location, if
Yeah.
only.
Right.
So, okay, so 10 o'clock on Monday, I'll post a meeting,
We're just gonna meet at the site.
and we'll meet at the site. Anybody that doesn't know where it is? Okay.
no, I'm just, because it's this big appointment, so it
Yeah.
might be closer to 11 that I get there.
You know, just
Yeah.
call, give me a call when
Okay.
you get there.
Then you want to schedule another meeting as well?
Yes, I do, but I'm not quite there yet, so,
So for those who are coming on the site, I've been pretty lucky with ticks this spring. Every time we come back from that site. So wear your light colored stuff, bring your socks up over your
pants.
pants, spray the hell out of yourself and live another day.
Don't wear your good shoes in. then you can
Yeah.
have the rest of the day. You might have to change a little bit once you get in or something,
It's,
so.
it's dry but rough footing.
Yeah.
It's stubbly field, which is rougher than it looks. to walk.
Okay. Thank you for that, yes, it's always a
Where
good.
would you park to get onto that?
Right, we've usually pulled over to the side.
Okay.
Um,
Can we park over
You
at
could- you could
the
try-
treasurer's office and run
Crosswalk.
across the street?
You like at Dowd Insurance, that area?
Yeah,
If
there's
you,
a-
if you
yeah,
need
there's
to
a-
not
there's a
park in the
crosswalk.
mud,
Okay.
so,
That plus the lighted crosswalk is what I did.
okay. Where did you park?
It was a Sunday. I parked at Dow Insurance.
Okay, It was a Sunday.
Previously, as a single car, I parked at the
Right.
end of Lynn, but I would not take a horde there.
I mean, you could go into Paisanos and cross at the light and walk down too. for that
That's a
matter.
little bit longer walk, but the Park Plaza condominium offices
Yeah.
have more parking there.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing is, I'm just curious if anybody in the group would like to, if you're not a member of Friends, would you like to be a member of Friends and then think about it and whether or not you'd be interested in helping with the fundraising, planning, or whatever for the new senior center. So that if you are interested, I guess I would ask you to go to the Ethics Commission to make sure that they, even though you're probably going to get similar to what I got, but
Which
to make
do you-
sure.
I don't understand, can you or can't you?
Yeah, I know, it wasn't
can.
clear to me.
I can,
It's not clear.
but
It was a bunch of gibberish.
Yeah.
yes,
I said that out loud.
Yeah.
it's recorded now. It won't be in the minutes, but no. So, yeah, but I would double check, see if you get a different person and get a different answer, but they,
And your actual.
So that's for you would be on the Friends in order to serve on that committee?
well,
I
that's
thought I
probably.
heard her say, recruit your friends to join me.
Well, that's not possible
We need
too,
more
but yeah, the
bodies.
Friends is a fundraising organization, so that's probably what we're gonna
Okay,
utilize,
all
Okay.
access.
If there was a capital campaign or something to get
Yeah,
going, it would be
yeah,
through the
yeah.
Friends most likely.
Friends of Council on Aging?
Yeah,
And when you checked with ethics, you got it sort of okay? Is that?
well, they gave us that reference and that, I'm still practicing up on my legalese, but it seemed like if we didn't, if we kept it without no quid pro quo, no pressuring of current vendors or, I think then there was,
Voluntary donations.
yes,
You have to avoid the appearance of undue influence.
yes.
Right.
Which is totally subjective.
But anyway, just double check if you're interested, if you, that way we could move that forward. Okay, anything else before we schedule our next meeting, other than the next meeting? Okay, so can we go back to Thursday somehow, which means I'll never have life on Thursday again?
Until
What about
June.
Tuesday?
Until we move, yeah, we're gonna
What
meet
about
earlier.
a Tuesday then?
I'm going to defer to Scott and Chris, who sometimes have
Okay.
select board meetings that night, and I don't
Okay.
know if that's a kind of a crazy day for them to meet with us.
If it was on the off week, it wouldn't be bad. If it's on the same week as the select.
So
board.
your next meeting is the 21st, your next
We're
official
not meeting on the
meeting?
21st because of the election.
Oh,
Can't be.
so when is
we're
your,
meeting the
when is
23rd.
your off week then? So the 30th would be
The
your off week?
28th would be our
Off week. Let me just look at that.
Well, that's about 2 weeks.
Yeah,
23rd is our next one. and then-
Yep.
yeah, I'm not available on the 28th,
I'm not
so
available that week, but
maybe we'll be.
I mean, it could be, it could do it, the week, next week sometime, just it wouldn't be Tuesday, I think, we can't have a select board meeting on the 21st on election day because it's at nighttime. But I don't know about meetings up the stairs.
But then that's like in a couple days, right? So we're meeting on Monday, then we're gonna meet again on the 22nd, so.
Right. Yep.
We can people make the 30th for, and maybe I'll just push pickleball up a couple
I
days
can't.
early.
I cannot.
You cannot.
But you don't need me.
Are you gone that week?
Yes. Don't give me a hard time.
Didn't even cross my mind.
It crossed mine, but I did it.
I like to go on vacation.
What's that, Chris?
No, the 27th is Memorial Day.
Memorial
too,
Day,
that
yeah, so.
messes that one up.
If we're gonna meet on the 20th, should we try going for the 5th or the 6th?
I'll
June
be
6th?
calling in,
Yeah.
but I'm not informed.
You're already missing another meeting, pulling out somebody from the COA board for that.
Yeah.
Giving you dirty looks now. Is that your on week or your off week, Chris?
Which one? Sorry?
The 5th.
On week.
On week, okay, so I don't want to get on, I mean, if we were going to move to Tuesdays, it shouldn't be this difficult, huh?
What about the 23rd? I mean, I know it's next week.
Seems to be the time before everybody disappears on their various
Yeah.
plans. Could make maybe a little bit later. In the afternoon.
The 23rd,
Well, if we're gonna have an official meeting Monday to walk the land, maybe we can,
that's what I'm thinking, if we're going to meet next week and we have a posted meeting, that's a lot in 1 week, I think, so.
yeah.
There's nothing pressing at this time unless some lot comes on the market all of a sudden that
Right.
Darcy knows
Right.
about, so that's why I was looking at the first week of June.
So go for Monday the 3rd. As a different day, or Wednesday, or something.
So is Monday work for everybody?
That's for me,
Yeah.
it is.
Doesn't matter.
And is 12:30 good still?
Mhm.
So it's June
Okay.
3rd.
June 3rd,
Yeah, I can make that one.
okay.
You
You're
want
not
to get
leaving yet?
away from the 6th?
Excuse me?
You want to get away from the 6th Thursday?
Yeah, we have some people out, so.
Oh, okay.
So
At what time?
Is 12:30 still good for everybody?
I'll be out of town, but I'm not a member of the committee. I'll see you on Monday.
Is
So you got the 3rd on
Okay.
12:30? Is that what you're
12:30, is that good? Yep.
saying? Let's try that.
Okay.
All right, I better put this in.
All right. Any other, let's have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Okay, second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.